Good morning. Hello, hello. Hi, I'm Annabelle, wild and wise woman, life expansion expert, and I'm here to help you bring your magic. So, welcome to Quintessence. What is your magic? My new podcast, and one of my first English speaking guest is Mr. Ryan Jasper. And so I will introduce you to Ryan, dear friend of mine from Belgium. And so Ryan is a multidisciplinary filmmaker, hip hop artist, and journalist dedicated to storytelling that awakens consciousness and inspires transformation. Through his company ÄON Vision, Ryan creates film, music, and media that bridge worlds, spanning spirituality, social justice, and human evolution. His award-winning documentary work explores the intersections of culture, consciousness, and resilience, while his conscious hip-hop under the name of Ryz Jasper channels personal empowerment and collective awakening through lyrical truth and soulful expression. I love that. I love all you are. As a journalist and interviewer, he delves into the wisdom of thought leaders, healers, and change makers, weaving their insights into narratives that move hearts and minds, blending art, activism, and spirituality. Ryan's work amplifies voice of vision and catalyzes meaningful change, inviting audiences to see beyond illusion and step into the highest creative potential. So welcome to my podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. You're so dear to my heart, and we've done amazing work together and always guided by the divine. I mean, it's been
Yeah,
amazing. So,
indeed. Indeed.
indeed,
Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you. It's an honor to be here and join you. 1 year and a half since we last did our
yes.
podcast together for the
So
first
you
time, and we have our
interview,
again, and we're
yes,
weaving across continents now. It's wonderful. You're
and
bringing your magic from consumed here in the Ballinjarshire Gumbaynggirr country, Australia, over back to the European continent, and so nice
absolutely,
seeing and connecting and weaving with you across the planet at this time, this new way dreaming time. We're all here to help
yes,
cultivate and bring forward an anchor.
yes, we are. I've been guided to come back to France because I didn't really want to come back to France. But so all this guiding is here, and I feel like there is a lot to bring. And I'd love to bring a love fest here in France, really.
Ooh.
But we won't go
Mm.
there right now. So tell us about
Mm.
you and about, this weaving. I really want to know about this
Mm.
weaving of the filmmaking and the consciousness and the spirituality and all of that. Because you were born, you were not born, but you grew up in this land who is so sacred.
Mm.
So tell us about you on that,
Mm.
weaving of who you.
Yeah. Well, the weaving began. So I was born in Tasmania, in the distant island of Tasmania, and then moved up here to the mid north coast of New South Wales, Australia, when I was one, and lived here till I was 8. So I had my early childhood in this area, which is, as you know, from living here for a number of years, very alive, very rich. Spirits of the land here are very present. You can feel it. The land is very alive spiritually,
Hmm.
quite simply put. And not to mention in all forms of life, wildlife, the rivers, the climate, we're subtropical. And I moved back to Tasmania at the age of 8, and it was down there in my formative years that I got into creative media arts as a form of um, of creative practice and outlet for me to find a way to make a living and travel and learn about the world and grow as a human being and have experiences and be able to move in and out of different environments all around the world as a filmmaker and photographer early on. You kind of get like a ticket. They get like a golden ticket to experience the world in all its different facets, shapes, and colors. Because as a person with a camera, they have the job to capture things. So you get brought into worlds and you meet people, and you get the most incredibly diverse experiences. So it was almost perhaps it was. I certainly I don't think it was conscious, but I think it was mostly unconscious that I chose that as my path quite early on.
Mm.
Perhaps because on a deep soul level, I wanted to have these experiences in this life and travel and really absorb different things and find my path and my purpose. So I got into film and video and media and audio production and photography quite young, at the age of 14, 15, 16. And then really just kind of honed in on that as a discipline, and that took me overseas to China in 2009 on a study scholarship to Hong Kong, studying creative media, and then that led me to living in China for 3.5
Yes.
years.
Wow. Yes.
Which was totally unplanned, but it seems as though fate had its own way, and one thing led to another, and I found myself learning Mandarin, living in Southwest China, documenting traditional peoples and cultures, and then traveling around the country, moving to Beijing, working in film and media industry in Beijing, working on documentary films and with different creatives after having worked in the industry in Hobart in Tasmania. And then I actually ended up over in Europe. I had sort of my stint there, and that just was a whole world of experience in my early 20s that really shaped me very much, particularly in a country that's so culturally different and removed and like a whole other planet from our Western world. And I just things just flowed for me, and I really kind of went deep into that environment, that world. And filmmaking was my means to sustain and live and travel and experience and meet people, and then that took me to Europe, and I ended up spending a year in Europe, based out of Berlin, and traveling around parts of Europe. So this was in my early mid 20s, and then I went back to China and worked on more films, and then I eventually came back to Australia in my late 20s, and I relocated back up here 7 years ago, and so it's been a bit of a full circle, whereby those experiences I've had traveling in remote parts of Asia, particularly, because there was other countries I've spent time in around those times as well, and in Europe, and then coming back here, and coming back here has been like what I discovered on this journey was that I was seeking. I was always drawn to indigenous cultures and peoples, for some reason, and I'm particularly drawn to Tibetan culture and people when I was living in China, and Buddhist culture actually, and I went quite deep into that world, and I have a number of films I've been making in that space. One particular long form documentary, which we recently got some more funding for, which I'm continuing to evolve, which I can speak about.
I'm
And
Yeah, I'm really happy because I met you through that. That when I first met you, you were screening the first part of the documentary to raise funds, and
yes, yeah, yeah,
on under that tree
yeah,
with pouring rain.
yeah. Well, that was a yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. When we had that break in the rain, just from the whole, we had a break just for the event. It was during the floods, big floods we had, and the water's coming and cleansing the planet at the time. We've had big cleansing. I was just speaking about this last night with friends, how I feel like we've had a massive cleansing here. And yeah, so coming back here, I decided I wanted to learn more about Aboriginal culture, original traditional Australian peoples and cultures, the First Nations of this land. And I actually consciously say original as opposed to Aboriginal, because the word Aboriginal is a play on words, which is an interesting, distortion in the consciousness of the collective in the English speaking world that still plays out, but it's still culturally accepted. But nonetheless, I choose to use the words original original nations and peoples. Anyway, and so coming back here to the Bellinger Shire, Goombangi country, and coming connected with elders and culture here in Australia has deepened my connection to country. And then that's kind of been the next phase of my journey. And then I've become get into music recently, which I can get to
I
as
know.
another full circle. But yeah, it's kind of a bit of a sweeping overview.
But it's wonderful because I can feel, you know, how as a young man you already early on followed your heart and followed your soul and did, you know, really what you were guided to. You know, because you say it's unconscious, so it's unconscious, like it wasn't thought, but it wasn't unconscious. It was very conscious, I think. You know, in a way that it was your consciousness taking you and your mental just let it be.
Mm.
And I feel like this is extraordinary because there are so many young men who just go on, and before they do that, they have to go through the whole work things, doing things they don't really like, and you know, study things they don't, and things like that. But you haven't. So, you know, already you're so connected to your soul, I think, and I love that. And then the way you've been going around the world, and it's like this big melting pot. You know, it's the early time in your life where you've just been feeling all this information and experiences and all of that to then come back to the source in a way in Australia and really grow. You know, it's like, you know, as a big plant, you've been feeding with very fertile soil, yes, and now you're back and settling, and you've got a child, and you know it's your father. I mean, the fatherhood is another big initiation, you know, to be from a young man traveling in the world and being free to being a father. There's always a lot. There's a big initiation there. And so now you have your magic, so you sing as well. So we can bring that for you because I think in the new world, you know, we need singers like you who sing meaningful lyrics. Let's say it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, we do. Yes,
We
yes, yes. We
do,
need
we
more and more
do.
and
We
more of
want
that.
to,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We want
yeah.
meaningful lyrics. It's very important because there's always messages, you know, there's different ways to bring messages. And so for you, you bring some amazing messages through your lyrics, through your singing. So tell us a bit about that because I think that's very magical because music, you know, everybody loves it. It will attract a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I've realized this, because I didn't allow myself to do music for a long time. I chose the filmmaking avenue, um, also because, well, it served many purposes, but and it continues to do so. But part of it was like, I'm not allowed to do music, oh, that's a bit of an indulgence. But since I've done more inner work in recent years, it's opened up. Well, on one hand, it's cleared that notion that, that I'm not this notion that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy,
Mm.
which unconsciously plays out in the psychology
Yeah.
and holds us back from stepping into the things we really want to do in love because we feel like we're not worthy, we're not allowed to do that, we're not worthy. So that's on one level, and the other level is just finding my voice as a man as well, finding my voice, and also as an artist, as a singer, and as a rapper. So I started rapping and getting into hip hop when I was like 14, 13, 14, 15, as a teenager in Hobart, in Tassie. And there's a hip hop scene down there, and I grew up in that hip hop scene. And I was quite active in it. I was making music. I was rapping. I was doing videos. I did my first documentary about Tasmanian hip hop culture, and that was sort of quite a well-known video that went around the city, and people kind of all knew me from that. But anyway, I went off on my filmmaking path overseas and traveled, and I just parked music. I parked it when I was about 19. I put it aside,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to focus on this now. And I left Australia, and I lived overseas and traveled and focused on that. And then I moved back, and I was in Sydney working in film and television at SBS Television. And then I had been in Melbourne for a bit, and I'd been traveling, and I came back up here. And in the last few years, it's come back to me. It's always been something I've carried with me, and I've always practiced. I've always freestyled, enjoyed freestyling, and just making music on the spot and just improvising because I really enjoy it as a form of music, not only to listen to but to express. Actually, hip hop is one of the most. Actually, they say that it's the most universal a musical language because it's based on a simple 4/4 beat within which it can be any key, any notation, any musical genres or sounds or anything can go within that, and you can rap or sing however you like on it, and it can be structured in any way, shape, or form. It's just a very simple 4/4 beat structure. It can be at any tempo and speed as well, within which you speak and rap, and it can rhyme. Doesn't even have to rhyme, but generally the rhyming is what links it together. And so it can be in any language. And was actually when I learned that I realized this is actually a very accessible format of expression. And music is such a powerful frequency, a powerful energy that really impacts people. It goes far and wide. A lot of people receive it subconsciously, and we resonate. We all love music. Well, let's be honest. You know, we all love music is universally loved, and it's easy to absorb and receive. So I've realized it's such a powerful medium.
Yeah.
And so as I've matured and I've stepped in and I've found my voice more, and I've always been writing things. I've always journaled and written lyrics and poetry to express myself. You know, my early foundation in hip hop gave me that foundational understanding of the musical structure within which to write lyrics and bars and tempo and rhymes and freestyling. Being a freestyle rap artist, just for fun, it gives me that ability to rhyme easily. And so I've always done it. And so I've got pages and books of contents. And just in the last couple of years, I've started to say, okay, let's get this stuff down. Let's start doing it, putting it out there. And I've begun performing. I'm doing events and festivals now. And I just did Love Fest on Sunday night, 2 nights ago. And it was a
Yeah.
blast. I had artists from up in Bunjalung country come and perform with me, and from here in Gumbaynggirr country perform. And, you know, we had big crew songs, and we had kids up dancing with us. And it was amazing. It's just it's just it's so fun. It's just a lot of fun. And it's also expressive of me, you know, to be able to sing and rap. It's like I'm using my body, my voice. It's like more of an embodied expression of me.
And it's this evolution, you know, the consciousness, the evolution of the consciousness, and how you bring that out and you offer that, you know, and how we meet together with other people who are on that journey, who want to be conscious and who are conscious of their body, their health, and how to look after themselves, and really want to teach. You know, I love Love Fest and Love Fest. I love Love Fest because they teach you that you can have a lot of fun by not drinking and not doing drugs, you know, and
Yes, yes,
being
yes, yes, yes.
together and doing different things. And, you know, singing and dancing are really part of those, and being together, bringing community together, uh, doing ceremony and rituals, you know, that would be my best memory to do the opening
Mm,
first Love Fest Bellengine. And
yes.
you know, that was so powerful for me to
Yes.
stand there and to realize my magic. So, you know, at the time I was guided to do that and I did it, but I didn't understand the power behind, you know, how I could speak to people, and I had all these
Mm,
listening and really drinking my words, and really, you know, having lots of gratitude after, you know, coming to me and saying that, yeah, we see you and thank you for your words. So,
mm,
you know, it's the same for you. You do that through the singing, and you do that with the film,
mm, mm,
and so,
mm, 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 mm,
you know,
mm,
we can really make a change in the world. I mean, that's what we hear. That's the thing, you know, we want a better world. And so Love Fest is this festival where you gather together, and the themes are, you know, about love of the self, love of the land, and love of the community. And so, you know, love is the center, because love is the only way we're going to move out of war anyway. So we want to move out of war, and we're already doing it. We're not just sitting going, oh, look at all these people doing war. It's not good. We
Mm.
don't like it, but we talk about it all the time and we don't do anything else really. But we do, we moved out of there. We don't, we have, I mean, I have compassion for all people who are still living in war place. And you've done, all your documentary on
Mm.
Tibet and what's happening in Tibet. Uh,
Mm.
but we are here creating the new and living the
Yeah,
new already and being in
very
that
much
new.
so.
And so all the new people who come to those
Yeah.
festivals, they go, oh my God, it's possible.
Mm.
And I think that's why we're here. We're here to show them that it's possible to live
Yeah.
higher frequency, to feel good in your body, to feel free, and to really move well, speak well, and be together at these
Yes. Yes.
frequencies. So,
Yes. 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 Yes.
and
Because
yeah,
it's in our experience. It's in our conscious creation of our experience that we create our reality, that not only we experience, but in turn others will in turn experience as well. Where we feed our energy intentionally. So if we're feeding into the all of the media, the news about war and about oppression and about destruction and devastation, as much as it's important to be aware of what's going on, there's a fine line, there's a balance between how much we tune in and we get a sense of our radars are getting a feel for what's happening around the world and say, okay, I realize this is all going on. And then in turn channeling our energy where we know we can have impact and we can create, we can actually have control and influence, as opposed to knowing about it and then letting ourselves get pulled into it and unconsciously feeding it, because it's an energy
absolutely.
exchange, and these are all energies that we feed unknowingly by just tuning into it, talking about it a lot,
Think,
thinking about it a lot. We get
yes,
pulled into it and we create it. So with events like Love Fest and other things that are happening around the world, there's so many of these. The intention is to consciously feed and cultivate good, harmonious, loving, integrative, wholesome, healthy, safe, regenerative spaces. Yesterday, at the end of the festival, a lot of the energy that was cultivated throughout the weekend was then put into the earth by planting trees.
yes, I love
So there
that.
was a whole riverbank where they were permacultured the land and planted all these different diverse native species.
Mhm.
Where they had banana plants chopped up and fed, and other plants chopped up to give them nutrients that will slowly feed in and mark out the new seedlings from the other wild things that are growing. And then we also planted a beautiful big strawberry gum tree as well, right on the entrance. It was absolutely amazing. The ceremony was really, 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 really special. We all came together and sang as a big group. We sang and we all came around, and each of us put a hand full of soil into the earth and put a little bit of our DNA in the form of our saliva.
I
So we
love
all put a little bit
doing
of our
that.
saliva in to
Mm,
feed the earth, which was firstly checked off by the Gumbangi elders. It was by one of the Love Fest leaders. They said, "Is this okay to do?" So it's also important to check and ensure done things are proper in that regard as well. And they said, yeah, they had no problem with it. So everybody gave their little bit of DNA in planting the tree, and that tree is so blessed. It's going to be the most blessed tree ever. I swear to God, it's amazing. So it was beautiful to see that and just consciously be really bringing ourselves together to feed in to the initiatives, actions, and events that are here that are creating a new world, a new earth, a new paradigm that is
it's already
going to
here.
be
It's
the
already here.
structure that we can shift, that as this old world collapses and falls apart, we
Yeah.
just shift out of it and we move forward in our own ways.
It's already all happening. It's already all happening. The new is already coming. The old has been, dying a lot. And then we're going into this 26, 27, 2026 and 2027. There's acceleration at the moment of energy to really, move forward. And so creating more people, creating more spaces where, I call it heaven on earth, because we don't have to wait for heaven on earth. Heaven is on earth now. It's just like you just got to learn to look at it and to create
Yeah.
it. And so when you create,
Yeah.
it's just there. You remember
Yeah.
when I did this clay
Yeah.
ritual,
Yeah.
and we were by the river at the first Love Fest on the last day. We did the clay
Yeah.
ritual, and then it was like heaven
Yeah.
on earth. It was so true. It was so tangible. Everybody was like floating in this different world, and we're here on earth.
Mm. Mm.
So, what
That's
people
right.
are doing in other places, it's
Yeah.
up to us to create what we want. And, I love to have you here because I know you're creating a lot of good and you're helping a lot of people. So, but I know it's not easy.
Mm.
I want to
Mm.
say, maybe we can have a little tiny bit about through all these process
Mm.
of spiritual awakening, meeting new people, doing new things, moving countries, fatherhood and all of that. You're going through a process of life, death, and rebirth, and it's
Mm.
going, and it's not easy. It's not ever easy. But if you want to share a little bit about that, about,
Mm.
about going through that.
Sure. Well, there's levels to it. I mean, the level, yeah. So one of the levels that I've been going through is as I've stepped into the music thing, as I've been finding that it's just so exciting. It's so fun. And I just want to do it. I just want to do that. I just want to do that. Like I just want to rap and make music, and like I'm getting really great feedback from people, and I've got amazing people I'm collaborating with, and I feel like my energy for some of the work and things I used to do for a living is waiting, and my energy just like I just want to go and make music, and
Yeah.
so that's definitely a level of rebirth. I think, to be honest, the music thing in general has been a massive part of the rebirth, because as I've also gone through a separation with my the mother of my daughter a year ago. I was doing a lot of healing work last year. I actually was working with another shamanic healer
Yeah.
who combines neuro linguistic programming, NLP, with quantum healing and and shamanic healing work. And we went through and identified some of my, as I mentioned before, limiting beliefs, and
Yeah.
also stuck emotional baggage that I've been carrying that are holding me back. And so I actually made a film about this
Yeah.
process, which was transformational for me, and it's opened up a lot. It's cleared a lot of stuff within me, and it's like within me now, I don't have the doubt and the confusion that I used to have. For example, that's one simple thing. I don't have as much doubt, and I know doubt is the biggest killer. Doubt is the biggest killer. It's the
I
biggest
know.
killer. It's the biggest killer.
It's a big
Honestly, it's
one.
the biggest
Big
killer when we
one.
doubt ourselves. Oh, we doubt.
And we get
And I
stuck
have so
with
much
like,
less doubt now. I have so much less doubt now. I still have it there. It comes, it's always, yeah.
I know it's
But
always there. You can,
it's still, yeah. But it's also a thing to work with. It has a purpose. We work with it.
yeah.
But I have way less doubt. That's one thing. I'm much more confident in myself. I know that I'm enough. I know that I am a godly creator. I know an expression of God. I am an expression of the divine, and I'm here to bring that. At the same time, it's also important we don't get caught up in ego. So there's also that level to it. But we can easily avoid stepping into our full power out of fear of becoming too egoic, and having our power distorted and imbalanced, and becoming that power being abused, becoming an abuse of power, because we've on a corruption of power, because that's what we see so much in our world around us. We see so much corruption of power in the global leaders, in all kinds of levels in our planet, and these societies. There's so much distortion of the power structures. Um, um, but so it's understandable, but at the same time, we also have to acknowledge that power is also divine.
Yeah.
Power can also be divine.
Mhm.
It's a divine. gift, and that we need to harness that. We need to step in and claim it, what is ours is our divine power, and yield it to serve and to bring forth and to co-create the new. And that's what I'm finding in myself. I'm finding that more and more and more, and it feels great. It feels amazing. It's challenging, and there's parts of me that are dying, and there's things that I'm still like, is this the right place? Is this the right thing? Is this the right situation? Rah, rah, rah. And I just slowly feel into it and try to surrender to it and let it go as it comes, but it's not easy. There's still so many things that I cling to, and I'm not quite sure. But the more I go inward and come back to myself, the more I usually will find that clarity, and I can let it happen, and I can keep stepping that path forward.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. And so you journey, we're all on this journey, life, death, rebirth, and this is and so we need to learn, going with the rhythm of the moon and letting go of the old and bringing new and being with gratitude and all of that. And I feel like I love the way you're really following your heart with the music that you've put aside, for a long time, that now you're going full on with that. And because your body your being just wants to express itself through that. So, the words are coming, the movement's coming, the music's coming, and you just put it together. And when it's like that, first it's fun, and then it's in flow, and then it's really easy. Like it comes easier. And it doesn't feel like, it doesn't always feel like work, or work has to be hard. So when you follow your heart, work doesn't have to be hard, but it doesn't mean that life not going to have difficult moments, and we all have to learn to move through that and to not get swallowed into the doubt and into the really questioning our worthiness and all of that. And so as we go, we learn to get out of it faster and better. And for me, you become your future self now, and you are already living, who you want to be. You're already living that now, and I love that. And my other tool has been really helping me is to study, with the gene keys and your profile, and really moving from the shadows into the light, and really being with that, moving. And it's because it's not about staying in the shadow, but it's about moving from the shadow into the light. And at every aspect of our life, we can easily fall into the shadow and not even realize it until we've been there for a while. We suddenly go, "Oh, something's just not right." And then to learn to move, so that's the healing. The healing is to learn to move out of the shadow and to go into the light. So I think you're doing that very well, and you're very, very talented man, multidisciplinary. And so you have a YouTube channel. So I'd love, I will put all the links to your songs and your different YouTube channels so people can have a look. And then if people need, your talent with movies and so what do you offer? Like, what is it that you really want to keep doing?
So I offer filmmaking services, telling the stories, particularly drawn to stories of transformation, change, of bold initiatives that are really paving a new way forward, that are offering really deep transformation for the planet and for people and practitioners in that space. So there might be thought leaders, healers, way showers, change makers, who are moving in this space. So I love to work with people like you, Annabelle,
Yeah.
and people in this space. I love to work, helping to tell stories and create content that's really going to capture the spirit and essence of that person or that organization and their work, what their mission, medicine, and messages for the world, to amplify it to reach as many people as possible. So that's one way I love to serve. I'm also cultivating. I'm also cultivating some tools to share around what I see as the three keys to brighten our light, to be the brightest light we can, which is looks at mind, body, and soul from 3 different levels, and that includes all the different ways we can cleanse ourselves physically, spiritually, and mentally to step into our power. So that's another kind of part of my healer kind of archetypal offering.
Okay. Very
So
nice.
there's the filmmaker offering, the healer archetype offering, and then there's also the musical artist offering, which is to
Yeah.
come and perform and weave spells of empowering mantra, magic, medicine, uplifting energy, like really, cranking beats that really make you move, and soulful words of empowerment, of inspiration, of transformation, of alchemization of
Mm.
the challenges and the hardships of being human, the human experience, and finding the light at the end of those tunnels every time, that we can always flip and turn around into a positive, and so to uplift and empower people through that message, where I just love to get up and engage with audiences and connect and kind of bring on a
It's,
big sound system, just bring a powerful, exciting, beautiful message that people just feel uplifted and activated by. So the activation is kind of really what it
I
comes back down to
know.
at the end of the day, whether it be through filmmaking, healing service, tools, or rapping and music and singing.
It's funny you said that because I went to a conference and I was guided to offer to do this. She gave me like 10 minutes, so it was very quick. But I did like bringing the joy, in the room and with music. And helping everyone to connect to their body. And so I did, and I was guided to do that because it's not like I wouldn't think of it like my skills or whatever, but I did it and it was amazing. I just went there and spoke about the connection to the body, losing connection to the body, and then coming back to the body and coming and feeling the life within body. And I just got the music and we are all dancing, everybody's up, and it was amazing. It's exactly what you're talking about, and that's exactly what you're doing. And like I want to do more of that as well, because especially with big audience, you just get everybody going. It's amazing to realize
Oh,
there is so much together and to work, in this new world. It's the Aquarius age. Aquarius is all about working together. That's why, I can be here talking to the audience by myself, but I'm happy to talk with you. We want to do it together. We need to be here together because we're so much more powerful together. So yes, I understand fully and I love it. And I'd love you to come around here, visit, and we can, things will happen then. We know how it works. You just bring an intention and then we don't know where it's going, but it will go somewhere and we can create something amazing, I'm sure. I've got friends, I've got friends who've moved here and they're both musician. And they're like, they're living 5 minute walk from me now. I'm like, I'm so happy. Community is coming to me. Yay. And so that's part of the Renaissance, and that's part of creating synchronicities and letting go of the old and then bringing new people, new energies, and creating this new earth together. So before we complete this interview, which I've been enjoying very much, do you have one last little tip or something that you want to say to the audience?
Just keep going within.
Yeah,
It's all within us. Everything that we need is all within us. We're taught to externalize, to seek validation, to seek the answers outside.
yeah,
But it all actually lies within, and all we need to do is continue to do that, to go inward, whatever way, shape, or form. Breath work has been really transformational for me. Meditation every day to regulate my mind. The breath work helps to cleanse all the emotional stuff that still comes up,
yes.
and burn it up and just activate and keep moving my body and eating really well.
Moving.
Clean food, good water, clean crystal activated water. Like, Kangen water is the best. I drink Kangen water. I recommend it as the best.
I've got kangaroo
And
too.
yes,
But yes,
yes, it's the best.
it's the
It's
best.
so good. It's so energizing, enriching, and just allows my body to absorb all the nutrients and heal and detoxify. and organic clean food, and just keep going inward and following our bliss and our joy and what lights us up. And in doing that, we're we're set to succeed no matter what we do in life. Like it all kind of, everything else will follow on from there if we just take care of our basics and fill our own cups from those levels within ourselves, keep going inward, care for ourselves, look after ourselves, love ourselves, really worship our bodies as our vessels, and tune in with ourselves internally, our inner guidance, and all those answers. That every question we have will always come to us if we do it enough, if we regularly, and it's a practice. It's not just here and there. It's like practice. It takes commitment. And that
Life is a
discipline of
practice.
committing to go in will pay off
Life is a practice.
thousandfold, infinityfold in the long run.
Thank you, Ryan. So wonderful to be here with you and to share your magic with the world. So if you need someone to make a movie about your transformation, you can talk to that guy.